Hello and welcome to another processing tutorial. This time we're going to be editing an image of the Ghost of Cassiopeia nebula. I've gathered data using an Optilong L-Quad Enhance, so this is RGB data, and an Optilong L-Ultimate, so this is hydrogen alpha and oxygen 3. From a Bortle Lake city centre, so the light pollution is horrendous, but hopefully 16 hours of this data and 16 hours of this, so 32 hours in total, should get us a half decent image in the end. So how can we combine these two into one image, and how can we deal with the nasty halo that we've got? That's what we're going to look at today. So first step is we're going to make some clones of these two images. We can put the originals to one side, so that if we mess stuff up, we can go back to the beginning again. And now we can see they're not oriented the same. Let's flip this L-Quad one using fast rotation. 180 degrees, turn it around. Yeah, that's fine. Ping! Now they're both facing the same way. Next we're going to use integer resample to bin times 2. If you're confused about this, then I've recently written an article on urbanaastrophotography.com that will help you to work out whether this is a step that you should do or you should skip. So we want L-Quad integrated clone, downsample by 2, done, and ultimate integrated clone, downsample by 2, done. Now the two images aren't exactly aligned over one another. They don't exactly match, so we need to do a bit of our star alignment. So our reference image, let's take the L-Quad. So our view is L-Quad integrated clone, and the target image is going to be ultimate integrated clone. Boom. Let's click the square, and then this image, let's just run a screen transfer function on it. Boom. Okay, looking good. We can close that one. Now these two should match, but we can see that we've got a bit of a black border here. So to fix that, we're going to make sure that this window is highlighted. We're going to open dynamic crop. We're going to hold down the shift key to keep our aspect ratio, and we want to move the box here so that it's just in. We can make that a little bit bigger. Okay, I think that's pretty good. Super. We're going to take the triangle here and move it over the other image. That's going to crop that one, and then we're going to do the tick, and that's going to crop this one, and then the two should actually line up perfectly. We can test this. We need to make the two windows need to be the same size. Boom. Oops. And then let's drag this onto here, boonk, and that will make them match. And then control and page up or page down, control and page down will skip between the last two windows, so we can see that those two are lined up perfectly. Next we're going to run gradient correction, and I still haven't looked into this properly, so I just use the defaults. One time soon I need to investigate how to do this better. That's 1 and 2. Next, let's run image solver on these. We're going to go to script image analysis, image solver, and run it for 1. And then the second image, and this is just helping PixInsight to know some useful stats that will help us later on. Next we're going to run blur exterminator, but just as a quick prelude step to that, we're going to go to render and PSF image. This might be an optional plugin, so you might need to download this one separately, but let's run this. And this is for L-Quad integrated clone, and we want the two full width half maximum values, and we know that between those two it's about 1.9, isn't it? Okay, 1.9, And we need to know that because we're going to run blur exterminator, and we're not going to use automatic. We're going to put in that 1.9 there, and we'll keep all these defaults for now, and let's run that. Jobs are good in there. We're going to run this whole same process over here on the HaOIII data. So let's run PSF image and evaluate. And it's actually about 1.9 again. Let's load up blur exterminator 1.9 and run that. That's all done. Next we're going to run SPCC to try and sort the colours out. SPCC. First of all, we'll do it on our HaOIII data. This is broadband data, so we don't need to click on narrowband filters, but we do need to select a bit of blank background using the preview button here, just so it's hard to find something with no stars in, just so that this process has an example of some blank background. That'll do. Preview 1. So we're going to select a region of interest and preview 1 and run that. Super duper. This looks bad because it's taken off that stretch, so let's just run an unlinked screen transfer function again. There we go, looking good. And then we can delete that preview. Next we're going to do the same for our HaOIII data, but this time it's narrowband, so we're going to click narrowband filters mode, and the HaOIII is 3 nanometers, so 333. Let's choose something with no background, or not much in the background, and then we'll run that. Okie dokie. I don't always run SPCC on the HaOIII data actually, so if you find you get weird results or something, feel free to skip that. Now it's time to stretch our data. If you want to be really pro about it, you could use GHS. Just for now, I am going to run easy soft stretch just because it's super fast. So we're running it on our HaOIII. And then, oops, our HaOIII. Haven't actually backed these up at all, have I? That's a good time to do this. So we're going to call that HaOIII stretched, and this is ultimate stretched. And then we'll make some clones of those, and we can go back to this stage if we mess anything up. Normally I do this cloning process loads more for every step if you want to. It's time to take stars out of these images. Now we don't care about the stars from the HaOIII data. Narrowband stars, we're not fussed about those. They're not good colours or anything like that. So let's just load up StarNet 2. It's not linear data, and we're just going to completely take the stars out. Done. Let's call that ultimate starless. But it's a bit different for our HaOIII data. This is broadband data, so we do actually want to keep these stars because we'll add them in again at the end. Oh, someone's at the door. Okay, I'm back. Where were we? We need to take the stars out of this image so that we can edit the nebulosity, but we want to keep the stars because we're going to put them back in again at the very end as a final step. So to do that, we are going to make a clone of that, and we are going to remove the stars from this one. Right, so now we've got a version without any stars and a version with stars. And what we want to do is go to Script, Utilities, and Screen Stars, which might be an optional extra that you might have to download from somewhere else, but it is free if you need to get that. And what we're doing is star removal. So our starry view is L-quad stretched clone. And our starless view is L-quad stretched clone clone. And let's click OK. And we can close that. And that gives us our stars. We're going to, I'll tell you what, let's give those a quick tweak now before we do anything else. Because I like to boost the saturation on the stars. Let's take that. Boom. And give it a boost. Done. And now we can minimize our stars and just put them out of the way, and we'll need those when we come to the end again. We can close that, and let's make let's call this L-quad starless and alt starless. We've got that already, and let's just make clones of those and minimize these in case we need to go back to them. And next we're just going to do a quick bit of curves to boost these pictures a smidge. So let's bring that up, give us a little gentle S-curve. I'm obviously doing this very quickly and just doing it in one pass. You spend more time on it when you do it. I just want to do this super quickly, just so you get the gist. Okay, now I think it's time we tackled the elephant in the room, which is these nasty halos. We want to completely get rid of these. And when we put it back in, this star will still be there, but we won't have any halo. Now there are two ways in which I would suggest you go about this. Now one way is all in PixInsight, and that is using clone stamp. You can make this clone stamp nice and big, and press Control, and you can kind of try and go over it like that. That's one method. Another one is if you have Photoshop, you can use Photoshop's new feature, which is generative fill. So let's have a go at doing that. What we need to do is, in order to import this image, we'll do this one first, L-quad, into Photoshop. Let's just make a new folder here. We need to save it as a TIFF file, which is 16-bit. So we're going to do that, and then we will open it up in Photoshop. Here we go, and what we're going to do is draw our box around it, bump, and then click Generative Fill, and generate. And it hasn't done a bad job. There's some different versions here you can click to go through. I think that one looks the best. It's not perfect, but that's okay. Let's get rid of this one as well. And there's actually an artifact here. Once we've done all of those, we're going to click down here and flatten our image. We're going to save it, and then we can load that image back up in PixInsight. There we go. Now again, it's not perfect, and you could use clone stamp and you could clone in Photoshop as well, but for the purposes of this tutorial, this is just quick, and we can see we have taken care of that halo by and large. So let's do the same thing now with this. So we're going to save it as a TIFF file, 16-bit, and then load that up in Photoshop. Just draw our box around it, and generative fill. Alright, this one hasn't nailed it first time. That one looks like the best. We might do another pass at it in a moment. Just get rid of that little bit there. And this artifact down here, from where there must have been a big star. Let's have another crack at this one over here. And look at that, it's put a crescent moon. That's really weird. Yeah, that one's not so good. I think what we might need to do is do it a little bit the old-fashioned way here. Let's have a soft brush and oops, flatten this, and then press Alt and clone over. Right, so a little bit of cloning later. We've got this. We can see it's not great, and if you were to put more time in it, if I was to put more time in it, I would get this looking better. But I'm going to leave it looking a little bit shoddy here, so that you can see how when you combine all these images and add a star field, actually it masks any shoddiness there quite well. So going to save that, and let's load this back up into PixInsight. Alrighty. So we've got these two. Let's rename them and make some clones. Let's call it L quad no halo and alt no halo. Make clones of those and save these over here. Now we can do some more work on these. Maybe a little bit of dark structure enhance. Just a little bit. Say 0.25 on this. And then maybe the same over here. And maybe some unsharp mask. I tend to go quite heavy on the unsharp mask because I like my pictures to be very sharp. But now they're looking very noisy, so let's do a bit of noise exterminator. Let's maybe set it to 0.4. We'll do a couple of passes if we need to. Okay, lots more we could do, like local histogram equalizer, and we could do more curves and things, but I have to go and collect my daughter from school soon, so I'm going to do this super fast. Next we're going to combine these two images. So to do that, we are going to go to our ultimate data, and we're going to go up here to the top left, and we're going to split RGB channels. And then we are going to go to Script, where is it? Toolbox, combine RGB and narrowband. Now our RGB is our L quad data, so that's L quad no halo clone. And then our red channel here, RGB. Okay, looking nice. Oh, sorry, that should be L quad no halo clone. Bunk. And we've got quite, we can see here the preview of what we would get, but we've got quite a lot of good narrowband data here, so we can change the balance. I think maybe about 1.3 could work well. Let's refresh that preview. Oh, look, see how that pops now? Yeah, okay. Click OK. And now we have our RGB narrowband combined image. So that's our RGB data from our L quad plus the oxygen 3 and the hydrogen alpha from our Optilong L Ultimate all into one. So let's call that and narrowband RGB. And we'll make a clone of it and ping all. We don't need these ones. Let's close these. And then we could work on this some more, but I do have to go soon. So instead, I think we will put our stars back in. Yeah, let's do that now. So we're going to go to script. Where was it? I always forget. Utilities, screen stars. We want star replacement. Our starless view is our I meant to be narrowband. Typo, NG RGB clone. And our stars view was what we did earlier. It's called stars. And let's click OK. Da-da-da. Now, before, you might have been thinking about how shoddy our cloning work was, but once you put all your stars in, it masks it really well. But of course, you could put more effort into making this better. I'm just trying to do it speedily. And then perhaps you want to bump the stars down a little bit if you think they might be overpowering the nebula. That's okay. We can do that with one of these Bill Blanchard scripts, which again might be a separate download and install, but they're free and they're quite good. So we use our clone for starless to make this image. We're going to run starnet to take the stars out. And then we can try these different star reduction methods, and I have tried this before, and I think that this one, running it just once, just takes those stars down just a little bit, which I think is an improvement. Then if it's particularly noisy, we might want to run another little bit of noise exterminator just on a low pass. Let's do that. And we could play about with other settings and the like. We could run a bit more on sharp mask, but this is looking pretty good. We want to get our resolution back though, because we did our downsampling to begin with, didn't we? What's this one? Oh, this one's just called Starry. Okay, we want to upsample by 2. Ping, nice big image, lots of pixels, and then we can save this. And I like to take it into Lightroom just to do a few more little tweaks, or you can do whatever you want or call it finished. And there we go. I hope that was helpful. Thank you very much.